federal government officially shut down after the Senate failed to reach an agreement on funding. Federal agencies now starting specific shutdown plans.
And as Fox's Mike Emanuel reports, the last time this happened was during President Trump's first term in office at the end of 2018. And that shutdown was the longest in U.S. history.
Failed efforts in the Senate to pass a government funding bill have officially triggered a shutdown that went into effect right after midnight on Wednesday, with both sides of the aisle casting blame on each other for the results.
Chuck Schumer is forcing a government shutdown, regardless of the cost.
So we see now Republicans are plunging America into a shutdown.
It's the first government shutdown in about 7 years. Senate Republicans and Democrats rejected proposals Tuesday that would have kept the government funded, with the last tally of 55 to 45 falling short of the 60 votes needed.
Their bill, they call it clean, we call it totally partisan.
Democrats wanted more than $1 trillion to extend Affordable Care Act tax credits and restore cuts recently passed under the Republican-led Big Beautiful Bill.
We simply asked Democrats to extend existing funding levels to allow the Senate to continue the bipartisan appropriations work that we started.
The shutdown now means hundreds of thousands of federal workers could be furloughed or laid off. In a statement, the White House's Office of Management and Budget said, quote, affected agencies should now execute their plans for an orderly shutdown. Essential services, including the military and air traffic control, will continue operating, but workers' pay will be delayed. This comes as a new poll from the New York Times reveals 65% of Americans said Democrats should not shut down the government if their demands are not met. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Let's break this down a bit, right? Here's how the reality of a government shutdown may start to impact different services related to the federal government. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers will face the threat of mass layoffs. The Food and Drug Administration may stop inspections. Flights may be delayed because of staffing shortages. Some government programs, including SNAP, also known as food stamps, could also eventually run out. So could the WIC nutrition program for women, infants, and children. But the Internal Revenue Service will remain open. Social Security checks will still go out, and FEMA forecasters will remain on the job.
The U.S. Postal Service, air traffic control, banks, courts, and federal law enforcement agencies will remain open, but it could deal with some delays of those services. Over in D.C., tours of the U.S. Capitol, the White House, and FBI building will all be closed, as well as the Smithsonian museums.
In Pennsylvania, a government shutdown impacts more than 60,000 federal workers who live here in the Commonwealth. With delays already to the state budget, it could further damage those in South Central PA that rely on social and human services, which could take months to untangle. A political science professor at Shippensburg says the effects could definitely linger.
There's a lot of folks who are going to be affected by this, not just those who have the jobs that they will not be able to do, but all of us who rely on these employees, on these federal workers to do the things that help us every day.
As we mentioned, from visiting national parks like Gettysburg to passport delays, SNAP benefits, Medicare, and Medicaid programs around the U.S. may either be stopped or delayed during this period.